Hey everyone's Jackal Wolf back with another Modpack update video. This is AnimalFactory. This is the Modpack that I am currently working on. It is Alpha 0.0.50A is what I am calling it. So I'm probably I feel like I'm about halfway through the alpha stage. This update includes a bunch of fixes for some of the previous recipes and a bunch of new animals. All of the tier 3 animals, or at least most of the tier 3 animals, I'm probably going to get to the end and find there's a bunch of stuff that I've missed. I'm going to have to kind of like put them, shuffle them around and put them into the right tier. So this update video, I'm going to go over a couple of things that I've added, a couple of things that I fixed. Probably the most important thing that I fixed is going to be the quest line. So the No Man is an Island, a quest line. You actually can't see it. My face cam's in the way. Tell you what, give me a second. Okay, so there you go. So that is a little bit easier to see. So No Man is an Island. We've got our starting here, which is, to start a new world, make sure you select Void as your world type, /island, create grass. This is all stuff we covered I guess in the first developer episode. Then, you got your crook and your apples and your silkworms, shears for the leaves. You can make yourself the dirt. Dirt in the sieve will get you the pebbles. Pebbles are used to make your animal. So I have set up the animal seed recipes to use the different pebbles, and then the seed, pebbles and wool to make your sheep, pebbles and a carrot to make a pig, then pebbles and wheat to make a cow. I think I might have talked about this one last time, but this is the cleaned up stage 1 tree, and it may expand a little bit as I kind of add a couple more things to it, or people say, hey, how do I do this, how do I do that? Also, we got our second line down here. We got our water extractor, which is used to get the clay for the buckets, and then you're going to need that to start your farming. And then also up here, when you start getting to your liquid DNAs and chemical J and all that. The water extractor is a really, really cool little item. It's just, very, very simple recipe, but it lets you pull water out of certain items. In this case, it could be the leaves, and then you can use that water to inject it back into the dirt, and that's going to get you your clay. So that is, the method for getting clay. We also have, the time to farm, so that's how you're going to get your wheat and your seeds. I mean, this one's pretty simple, but it branches off into the different types of farms. We got your sprinkler down there, your wooden water can. It's not a watering can, it's a water can. The plant matter is probably my favorite. It is very, very simple to make. Just 5, organic things in a crafting table get you 3 plant matter. Instant growth. It's like bone meal, but it is instant. You don't have to do 2 or 3 to, grow up something from 0. The other thing in here is the fertile soil, which is the dirt and bone meal. And then there's also the fertilized dirt, which is the piece of dirt surrounded by chicken manure. This stuff is really, really good. It grows stuff really, really fast. From there, we get the irony. I'm still working on this. This is sort of like the step 2, but it brings in the alchemic condenser, the porcelain melter, the bowstring cast. This is stuff we're going to talk about in a little bit. The advanced alchemic condenser for tier 3, the compound maker, which is the machine we're going to use for tier 4. And I should throw some of the other items that you're going to need in here, just sort of to build off of as you go. And these guys are other things that I got to kind of throw in there, or I want to throw in here once we get them sort of sorted out. So that is all well and good. I've cleaned up the animal quest lines, I guess. So we've got sort of a full-on quest line over here. I may have to move some stuff around. It may not make 100% sense the whole way. But we got our tier 1 chickens, our tier 2 chickens, and then the tier 3 chickens that I've added. You see they're all checked off because I've grabbed them to put them into the world just so I can kind of show them off there. Also our tier 0 chickens, which are all the die chickens. These ones are very, very simple to make, which is why I'm calling them the tier 0. The tier 1s, you got to use the alchemic condenser. The tier 2s, you got to use the advanced condenser. And then the tier 3s where you get to use that new machine, which we'll be taking a look at here shortly. I've also added the advanced DNAs and the advanced chemical J. I definitely got to spend a little bit more time up here with, kind of working our way through the progress of this one. Pigging out, very, very simple as well, or similar. I've added some more. These ones are a little bit easier to spiderweb, whereas the chickens use a lot of like mixing and matching. It's hard to get a nice, clean spiderweb off of them. So I haven't even bothered with the chickens, but with the hogs and the cows, they work really, really well. Sheep is still pretty basic. I have changed the recipe for the engraved thunder, which is your initial way of getting your energetic sheep into the game. Just redstone, simple sheep DNA, and then a battery. And then I have also upgraded the cloud pet, which requires a steam cow, which I believe is a tier 1 cow. Could be a tier 2 cow. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then a bunch of energetic wool. So you already need the energetic sheep in your world to make the cloud pet. It will use lightning so you can make more sheep. But best of all, it will give you flight. Though you do have to feed it nether quartz, so it's not a perfect flight, but it is a pretty interesting way of getting flight. You can get it pretty early on if you try really, really hard. Let's go and just change it back to day. All right, so there you go. So what we are going to do is we're going to look at some of the different mobs that we have added. Tier 3 mobs, we got things like the diamond chicken, the platinum chicken, the sapphire chicken, ruby chicken, refined iron chicken, the tungsten chicken, the ender pearl chicken, and then the invar chicken. So these are all tier 3 chickens. They've got some really, really interesting recipes, but these are all stuff that you're going to kind of want to be working towards. I think they are all legitimate tier 3 stuff that you're definitely not going to be day 1, but stuff you're going to have to use previous stuff to kind of work your way up to. Same thing with the fluid cows. We've got the molten bronze, which is an alloy, the molten electrum, which is an alloy, rabbit stew, which is a really, really interesting. There is the mushroom stew is the tier 1, the potato stew is the tier 2, and then the rabbit stew is the tier 3 stew that you can make. What do we got here? We got silicon, we got dark chocolate, blood, and then poison. These are all the different fluids. As well, I mentioned it before, we've got our added fluids for the fluid cows. So we've got the liquid advanced chemical J, as well as the chicken DNA, the cow DNA, the pig DNA, and the sheep DNA. These are all the advanced ones that you're going to need to use to make the advanced mobs. And then over here, we've got our pigs. If you remember back from the first episode, I've mentioned it there before, but the whole concept of the resource animals is the chickens will be giving you pieces. So here you go. So the ruby chicken gives you a small pile of ruby dust. And I accidentally took that out. But if we use that for ruby dust, we'll make ruby dust. And then you can turn that ruby dust into an actual ruby using a couple of different methods and stuff like that. So it will make smaller stuff so you can go and make bigger stuff. The fluid cows is all about the fluid. So, we had the bronze here, which is the alloy. We've, got the, soup is obviously a fluid. The chocolate is a fluid. You can make it into a solid. Same thing with like the poison and the blood. Like it's all the fluid stuff is what the cows are going to be doing. And then over to the hogs. The hogs make blocks. So blocks for building like, all of the wood, all of the stone, gravel, cobblestone, glass. All of those can be manufactured with the pigs from the truffles that they dig up. So tier 3 animals, and I should mention it previously on the first episode, I had them all standing nicely on this block, on these blocks here, on top of the truffle that they were going to dig. And there was an update to the resource hogs, and I don't know if it reset a setting or if it was actual update to the resource hogs, but as soon as they dig up a truffle now, they'll start wandering away. And before they used to just stay on the block. They used to stay nice and steady. So that's why I have to build these little ugly enclosures here for them just to keep them going. But the tier 3 hogs are the mycelium hogs, the magma cube hog, the slime hog, the endstone hog, and then the dark oak wood hog. And there may be some more that I add in the future. There's definitely a lot more blocks that I need to add. I certainly probably won't be every single block, but it's going to be, I want it to be the majority of the blocks in the game. One of the major problems I had with the last release is the recipes that use the clay buckets with the animal DNAs. So in the alchemic condenser, the recipes worked fine. They looked fine. They came up as valid recipes, but when you went to actually add them any recipe that used the clay buckets just didn't work. It just wouldn't actually click over. If you had the iron bucket in there, the iron bucket would work fine. The clay buckets, for whatever reason, didn't work. So I fought with it for the longest time trying to figure it out. I talked with the different, creators of the mods. Nobody was able to come up with a really, really good answer or a really good fix. So what I did, in hindsight, this is actually probably for a good thing because, you're putting buckets in here, especially with the iron bucket. And a lot of times it would use the iron bucket and it would you'd be losing buckets where we didn't really want you losing buckets. So it's probably for the best. But what I've done is I've come up with a alternate item to use in place of the clay bucket. So that is going to be DNA string. I've got 3 different ways of getting it, which are going to sort of tie in with the different tiers. The tier 1 animals were basically adding items into the, cauldrons of that animal DNA. So I've kind of, retained that. What we got is we've got just some regular string, which you can get from, putting the silkworms into the leaves. They'll grow. And you'll get your string that way. But if we go right click in there we go. We got a simple chicken DNA string, a simple cow DNA. This is the pig DNA. And then last here, we've got the quest complete simple sheep DNA bowstring. So that is how you get the simple, DNAs. And these are what are being used in these recipes now in lieu of using the bucket. So it's same thing with the simple chemical J bowstring. Rather than use a bucket, we're now using the strings. Now, the vanilla water bucket, this works fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. There's no reason to mess it up. It was only with the clay buckets, and clay was going to be the main method of getting these things early on because you're not going to have access to the iron chicken until tier 2. So that was sort of a game breaker. So we've kind of fixed that. Hopefully that's going to work out. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have any trouble with this, or if you can think of maybe a different way, to make, the string of DNA, which is personally what I think is a absolute great way of doing this. Now, as far as the tier 2 strings go, you're going to have to upgrade to a, Tinker's Complement melter, just use the bowstring cast, and then right in here I've got normal sheep DNA. All we're going to do is cast that, and this is basically going to be your recipe for making the string. So you're not dipping string into liquids. You're actually casting a string as soon as this is done. There you go. So now that's our way of getting the string that you're going to use in your recipes in the advanced condenser. This is just the regular alchemic condenser. Tier 2 uses the advanced ones. Tier 3, we're getting up into actual stuff that's going to use, electricity. So the sheep ideally will be able to, use some of that energetic sheep wool. Right now, I've just got them on simple combustion generators because there are ways of using them. It's a little bit clunky, and I got to figure out better ways of dealing with it. But right now, it's going to be the Tesla-powered thingies pack that's going to allow you to get your tier 3 items. So the strings are going to use the Tesla-powered item compact producer. So basically, it is something simple like a fluid and then a string. So we'll take the fluid, actually, there you go. So the fluid is the liquid advanced cow DNA. We'll put the string in here, and there you go. It just starts making the advanced cow DNA bowstring, which is absolutely perfect. That's exactly what we wanted right here, because the next step is I'm going to show you off how we make our tier 3 animals. So tier 3 animals are using the compound maker. We've got a potato soup cow, cooked rabbit, carrot, and cooked brown mushrooms, with a liquid advanced chemical J and a cow bowstring. That gets us a fluid cow rabbit stew. We just turn it on, and there you go. We have now got a fluid cow rabbit stew, which is this guy right here. So this guy is constantly producing rabbit stew, which is absolutely perfect. But this is the machine for the tier 3 recipes. If we open up the JEI, we can see how many different recipes there are in here. So all of the chickens, all of the pigs, all of the hogs, all of the cows all use this compound maker. And Probably once I get to the beta stage, I will be adding recipes for all the previous animals in the higher level machines as well. You won't be able to make the high level animals in the lesser machines. So there's a lot of sort of backfill that I've got to do to, sort of bring this up to date. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys are interested in this pack. Check out CurseForge. Search for AnimalFactory, one word. There's also be a link below, like I mentioned before. Make sure, if you come across any problems, you are posting them in my Discord page or on this video or, on CurseForge or, wherever there is a way of getting a hold of me. Let me know that if you've got any sort of problems. But if you enjoyed this video, though, please think about leaving a like and a subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at Jackal Wolf. Also, check out the description below. There will be a link to my Discord page. I would love it if you guys stop by to say hi. As well, there'll be a link to my Patreon page. If you enjoy this channel, if you enjoy this content you want to support, stop by, check it out. There are a lot of great perks out there for all of my supporters. But that is it. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.